The Bring a Trailer Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bring a Trailer Podcast. Alex here, Operations Director, coming to you from the studio in our office and joined by old friend of the pod and my old friend, Zach, our Strategy Director. Zach, it's been a while since you've been here and been on the mic.
I know. I feel like a distant old friend now. It's been too long.
You're a true Bring a Trailer executive in that you are bicoastal. Everyone's slowly migrating to the East Coast.
I know. Can I say I'm coming out on this pod? Is that okay?
We're glad to have you back. You're back for a couple of interesting reasons. We've also had some exciting adventures in the Midwest, but are you bummed to be back on the West Coast? You happy to be here?
Not now that I'm sitting down with you. I got to make a point to be on more of these.
I know. We were talking about some spicy stuff. I didn't push record before, but man, we have so much to catch up on.
Yeah, both coasts have great things to offer. So when you get tired of one, pop into the other. I mean, would highly recommend.
Do you listen to the Lonely Island podcast? Have you been listening to those guys at all? It's my favorite thing out there right now. Sadly, slightly better than the Bring a Trailer
podcast.
podcast.
High alums on there.
100%.
Some East Bay locals.
Those guys are so rad, but they were talking about one of their SNL digital shorts they did, and they were talking about how lovely New York is in the spring and then into the summer and how it's like the best place on earth. Do you find that to be true? Because you've really fallen in love with it out there.
I like the summer. It's a large city that has such a sense of community. Everybody is so drawn together. And the first few nice days of spring, you just feel so connected with everyone out there in a cool way that the seasons dictate behavior, moods, people. So all that's fun.
Yeah.
It's electric. It's New York. It's kind of the greatest city in the world.
Oh, man. You're a full convert.
Not much car stuff to talk about out there.
Well, we have one car story that we can talk about, if you don't mind, that's a little bit apropos of our event. But mainly what we want to do is recap our Wisconsin event today and talk about a bunch of tangential things. You and I were both out there recently. I freaking loved it. I love the Midwest, too. How did you feel about it? You've spent a fair amount of time in the Midwest or not really?
No, this is my first time in the Midwest, I think. I've gotten really far east Montana, but I don't think that's quite
Never been to Chicago or anything before?
My first time in Chicago was this trip.
Oh, dude, I didn't even know all that. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a lot to relate on.
Oh, totally.
The big one we can both geek out on, the rust.
Oh, unbelievable. This is what people talk about. This is why there's seasonality in buying, right? Which we always, as Californians on this podcast, we're always like, why don't people want to drive in the winter? There's no rocker panels on anything out there.
But it'll be on like a 08 Ford Fusion. Or to me, I still look at that and I'm like, that's a new car.
I know.
And it's missing its entire passenger side.
I know.
When I was driving through, I think I was in Ohio at that point, there were two guys.
People are going to be like, these freaking coastal elites.
Oh, I'm going to say so much that, I'm definitely going to get canceled in the middle of the country, I think. But these two guys, they were probably like late high school, maybe young high school grads in a small town in Ohio that I was stopping to get gas in. And one was in probably an early 90s S10. And the other was in late 90s Ford Ranger, both with lifts, both with rust that I would have assumed was part of the aesthetic. But something about their vibe also seemed like the mods they'd done to both trucks were a little aspirational. Cat delete, muffler delete, and they're just revving them at the gas station that I'm at. Awesome. Not amazing. California car culture at all. We got donks. We got sports cars, but
not that.
Rust, not at all.
Not that at all. I loved that aspect. So I did a little bit of driving. Producer of the pod, Chris Baxter, and I flew into Minneapolis, drove across. We drove west of Minneapolis, then back, and then down through Wisconsin, the western part of Wisconsin, to get to Elkhart Lake. And I freaking love driving up across that part of the country. Did you find that to be enjoyable as well?
Yeah, so I drove from New York. I drove from Anthony Serra's shop, actually. I took a $200 Uber up north to 1600 Veloce, got the tour, some incredible cars in there.
Good stuff up there?
I don't know if I can totally blow up his
spot.
No,
don't blow up his spot.
But I did get to see two NSX-Rs on that trip, which is pretty wild. One in New York, one out there, and some other just heat. Oh man. So cool being there. Yeah,
I freaked out at his place last time. It was unbelievable. I mean, it's like not only does he have similar taste, I think, to you and me, but like it was like a candy store. The premises are so beautiful too. Like all of it is so good.
And the photo studio that's on the second story, just so cool. Great start to the trip. And then I drove out of New York, which I'd done a decent amount of that drive before.
Do you drive through New York or do you drop down to Pennsylvania? How do you do it? How do you get west out of New York City area?
Yeah, you drive across New York and then into PA was the route that I took. And PA was a delight. I really was not expecting it.
You on a turnpike there or are you on a interstate of some kind?
The only turnpike I can say confidently I know what it is a mid-50s Mercury. So what is a turnpike?
That's where you have to pay. That's where you have to pay. Did you have to pay on any of your roads?
Oh, well, I didn't have to pay because that was the other great part. I didn't have plates for my car. So, yeah. Anthony was a little concerned with me rolling across the country, but another one for the unregistered collection.
Totally.
No problem. Except for a few booths in Ohio where you actually have to physically.
You have to drop some coins in or something?
Which I'm glad because I was feeling a little sporty and confident. The first toll that I went through that I didn't pay, got a little adrenaline rush. And then I was starting to feel a little more confident. And then I got into Illinois and something about the toll just felt a little different. And I was like, all right, fine. I'll go through the pay lane. I'm glad I did because they had the arms.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't even know what I would have done if I got up there with no plates.
Well, that car is very low. Can we say what the car is? Because it's such an interesting car. You surprised us.
It's not an interesting car at all.
I disagree. I actually have been thinking about it a lot.
Well, this is the most jerk elitist thing that I think I'll say where I always saw these as cars that it's kind of a symbol that
Say what it is. Say what it is.
It's a 16 Boxster Spider.
I think it's fantastic. This is the car with the hook-on roof, the roof that hooks on.
And it also hooks off at speed, apparently, for a minute there.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, I'm actually
I thought it was very fast. And the thing that has been sticking with me, two things. We rolled it around in Wisconsin a little bit, and we can talk about our time at the racetrack and in the pits. But you sit extremely low in it. Like you're really deep in it. Like your eyes are just above the belt line. Like it's about the deepest I've ever sat in a car. I
know when you drop the seat all the way, the door is higher than your shoulder.
I love that, but it's race car-esque, like almost like you're in a racing bucket seat.
Yeah, I know.
I sat on the floor of Howard's GT3 and it felt like that. And then the other thing is you let me drive it, which was very nice, but then you drove us back from the track and the grip on maybe I just am so old school. The grip on that on-ramp was incredible.
Well, it's also funny to say this because you asked what the tire size in the rear was. And I was like, I don't really know. I just assume they're wide, and they are wide, but they're smaller than I thought. They're 265s, which is your GT3 is 285s.
I think they're 295s.
Okay. And then the car I have that I keep comparing it to was...
But my GT3 also weighs like a couple hundred pounds more. You said this is the lightest modern production Porsche, right?
I think it's under 3,000 pounds, depending on how you option it. I think if you did AC delete and those fancy expensive seats, it's maybe in the 2,800s, but it's light. And it's sort of a replacement for that green Cayman R that I had that a tree fell on.
Yes. I didn't know if that had been revealed on the pod, but yes.
Oh, yeah. Salvage title. Some guy and his son ended up buying it. I sent him the stack of records I have. That car, I think, is somewhere around the Midwest now. So Amazing. It lives on. Yeah, great car.
Yeah, and your top beating on your, just like the Ferrari that I had the incident in, or all these other things, the Zach luck continues with your top coming unhooked on the thing.
I think I invited. I'm not a sympathetic character. I think that's part of it. Everybody that's listened this far has already made up their mind about that too. So
that's right. The pod needs a villain, dude.
I guess that's me. I always hoped it would be Howard or Randy, but
it could be me. If anyone who's soldiered on this long has had to listen to my voice.
So I keep comparing it to the Green Cayman because it's sort of a successor.
It's not the same generation car, though, is it? It's a newer gen chassis, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Similar philosophy. I mean, this 987 Spider and Cayman R came out at the same time, like the Spider. And the
GT4. That's right. There was a 987 version of this also, right? They made the same kind of deal for the second and third generation Boxster. Is that right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
The thing I'm just most impressed with is it does everything the Green Cayman does, just better all around. Where I feel like there's such a thing amongst car enthusiasts now to talk about feedback and feel, and people say analog and raw and all these kind of meaningless terms.
Yeah. Subjective.
Oh, I mean, everything about cars is subjective, basically, totally. Except for displacement and things you can measure with engineering. But like the steering's better. It feels way faster. It's more comfortable. It's more engaging. The only thing it's not is green, which is a bummer because that.
You also had those
fun.
green wheels for that one too.
I know, real flash.
Did
the TVs came on?
Can you get this lightweight? I don't know what you call it. It's like a bikini top is what I would always call those things. Can you get that in the current turbocharged Boxster also?
They didn't do it for the turbocharged ones. What they did for the successor in my car is they put that 4-liter, which is...
Oh, that's right. There's some Boxsters and Caymans that still have an NA 911 engine in them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can get one with a real roof, which is the GTS 4.0, which you just click a button, or you can get it with the tent roof that I have.
Gotcha. And your car also has like a 911 engine in it, right? It's not a standard Boxster engine. Yeah, okay.
And I've driven the 4-liters, and I think they sound bad.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And the rear end with the exhaust setup that they had to do for emissions reasons doesn't
Yours
look as
sounds
good.
freaking fantastic. It's got an aftermarket exhaust on it, right?
It's a little too loud.
Okay.
It's got a crop of it titanium exhaust, which is a little much when you're feeling a little sporty, like on some PA back roads I was on.
Oh, good. You took some back roads. It wasn't all interstate?
I turned off a little bit. I got to tour some towns. I drove into Ohio across some railroad tracks with the Welcome to Ohio sign on the other side. So that was all cool.
Did you stay up by the lakes or did you kind of drop down a little bit? Or were you up at the northern part of all these states?
So I drove across PA, which was beautiful, rolling green hills, a lot of elevation. There were some mountains. I'd never been to Pennsylvania, so that was my first experience, and I drove all across it. And then crossed into Ohio. That's where I went through that town. And
that's where you started seeing the rust.
The lack of quarter pounds. PA all the way a little bit towards the western end of the state. And then, into Ohio, that's where really got to be exposed to some of that stuff. And I drove into Akron, which is...
Oh, cool.
It's like 30, 45 south of Cleveland. And Cleveland's by the water. So a little
that's
more
where Goodyear Tires is, I think, is Akron.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I drove by the Goodyear building, the Continental building.
Sick.
And one other.
Was the blimp hangar there? Was there a blimp at the Goodyear place?
No, it was night.
Okay. Bummer.
There was one other great, massive parts distribution place in Akron that really lit me up to get to see. I'll see if it comes back.
Okay.
But Akron was super charming. Seemed like it just had a cool vibe going on. There are some good local restaurants that I arrived too late.
Is that where you stayed? The first night?
No, I met Dave Duke there.
Oh,
for
great.
a great dinner. I felt so
Shout out Dave.
Because I drove from New York to Akron, which is just short of 500 miles with the top down the whole way. And it was like 92 and humid the entire way, the sun beating down. So I was pretty pooped by the time I got there. And I still had to trek up to Cleveland after that, which is where I crashed I was in Cleveland for like
I'm so
7
glad you
hours.
got to hang. We all got to hang with Dave. Dave's the best, man.
Oh, it was great to see him on his home turf. Got to see the Ford Maverick.
Great.
I was like, come on, drive the Boxster around. He wouldn't do it.
He definitely was ripping my X5 rental car, though. Like I tossed him the keys for a lot of the time when I was driving with you, and he was apparently quite the, this is also probably statute of limitation stuff. That car was brand new when I was the first renter of that thing. He was apparently quite the off-road rallycross hero.
Didn't feel brand new after Dave was done.
No. We're just breaking it in for the second renter.
He got on it when we were driving back, and I was like, whoa, the torque in this.
Dude, I loved that car. I'm like not a car guy. I have to hand in my car guy credentials. Your Boxster was great, but I'll take that X5.
But they're kind of the same. This is something I'm actually struggling with a little bit as a car enthusiast, where modern cars are so capable. I just can't believe what a leap the Boxster feels like from the Cayman in terms of everything, capabilities. And then I get in the E30 is delightful, but it just old cars.
I know. Dude, I've been driving my 912 around unassisted brakes. I'm like, I remember when we went on the rally on the Falcon, you were like, oh, the brakes on this. And I'm like having that first experience of that. I grew up driving old cars, but man, like the pedal travels so far before it stops. I'm so
in the
used
912?
to, yeah.
Interesting. I always loved your brake.
Oh, no, it is great too. But when you I haven't driven old cars as much the last few years. And so I'm actually having a hoot, and I've been driving it kind of as my daily the last couple of days because it's so much fun. I was driving it in the rain. I'm having a blast, but it is like you have to kind of put your brain in the space. And if you don't do it for a long time, you kind of forget. I think this is maybe why some people are kind of not scared, but they're just like not interested in old cars. You have to commit to the act of driving an old car.
Yeah, I get that. And I agree. And I think my main gripe is more in the track day scene that, at least on the West Coast, it's just kind of all about latest and greatest. If you're
Totally.
if you're not, it's something that's super capable or doesn't have 300 horsepower is like baseline. I guess guys are fast in these new 8.6s and stuff, but it feels like you're in the way of people.
Yeah,
so anyway, that's
tough.
making me a little jaded in my old age here.
But you at least had a delightful drive across the Midwest. That's why increasingly I like that kind of driving where there's like nothing, although we're going to talk about racing later and why you and I got kind of juiced up on that again too. But the low stakes of driving across the beautiful Midwest is really delightful.
It's low stakes, except I like to carry some speed on road trips. And then you're like, what is this Virginia go to jail at this pace? Or
So we did Minnesota and Wisconsin, and shout out to Xavier, our pennant buddy who's handling all of our social media stuff, who drove out with Chris and I to the Runge facility. I was asking him a little bit about the state troopers in Minnesota, and he said they can be a little strict, but Wisconsin felt awfully free.
Was crazy. So yes, I drove from then Cleveland to Chicago. I had a delightful time in Chicago. What a just wonderful,
one of the best cities in the world.
Welcoming, unpretentious town. Awesome time. And then driving out of Chicago, as soon as I got onto the border into Wisconsin, all of a sudden there's a RAV4 in front of me. And it's not like driving aggressively or anything. It's just, the speed of the road here is 95 miles an hour, just in everything. There's a Chevy Sonic just cruising at 88 in the middle lane. Drivers are respectful, but people drive quick up there in a nice way. That was my favorite thing about the Midwest road trip. You just really get to see how not congested a lot of
100%
other states are compared to driving in California.
Yes.
It's just so easy. There's few cars on the road, so nobody's aggressive, nobody's defensive. If somebody's hanging out in the left lane, it's very easy to just go around them.
Yes.
So it was so low stress that, man, it was actually freeing. You got to do it because I know you're a fellow.
I love that stuff. Did you drive past any of the cheese tasting rooms?
No, but I did have like a pocket full of Lactaid the entire trip.
Yeah. Well, shout out to another colleague, Jack Peterson, who ensured that we had spotted cows paired with fried cheese curds, which is like the Wisconsin delicacy and was amazing. That was at Siebken's, amazing. But on our way east from Minneapolis, we're going through these beautiful rolling hills in western Wisconsin. And very similar to like California wine tasting rooms, there'd be a big dairy and like cheese factory, and it would have like a little tasting room like attached to it. Now I kind of regret that we didn't stop and try some of it, but like people clearly go on little cheese tasting drives.
Well, we had such a delightful time in Road America that I think we'll get another shot at a cheese tasting.
I think so too. I would happily go back. Tell me your impression. I mean, I loved it. I thought Road America was incredible. The track itself, the facilities and all that.
Yeah, it's everything about this podcast is really just making me feel like such a coastal jerk because I don't know, you just assume Laguna Seca and Sonoma Raceway are these big historic tracks with a bunch of money flowing through them.
They are those. That is true, but it's not. I mean, Road America's.
But you're right. It's so well kept there, and I didn't eat it, but everyone is saying the track food is super good.
Super good.
And one of my favorite parts was it's kind of like being in the woods in the paddock.
Yes.
There's all these beautiful trees and cool rocks, and it's so huge that you can get around and see all these different 100%. Corners.
My takeaway was that like the kids were playing soccer in the parking lot. So instead of like a dusty, like gopher hole infested hillside, it's like a soccer green. It's so green and nice and manicured. What a contrast. And yeah, the facilities were beautiful. And the word Nürburgring was uttered a few times by some of our colleagues. And there are parts of the track where it's down in this canyon of green trees, and like we'll get Howard and Randy's feedback when they have a chance because they were both racing. But I mean, it must have been incredible to be on track in a place like that.
I know. I was so envious of the flag stand down the straight that we're watching from.
100%.
It's got to be the coolest view of the track.
100%. And they kind of come up over that rise on the front.
Yeah, so fun. And you're just right above them.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that really struck me was the pits. They're not just like a big square piece of concrete. They were on all these different levels and all over the whole infield. I really liked that layout. The pits felt kind of like intimate and interesting.
Okay, I don't know if this is a Midwest thing, us as a sponsor thing, maybe just a Road America thing. But one other thing that stood out to me was the people that work at Road America were so warm and friendly and nice. And constantly checking in on us, ask if we need anything. And I was chatting with one guy who, man, I don't even remember what his role was there, but he was telling me about how they get to drive the school cars around.
Oh, I didn't hear this story.
Yeah, he said, man, I forgot what they have currently because they're in between OEMs right now. But we were chatting and he's like, yeah, we actually have some Camry Solaras that are grandfathered in. So
the official car of the Bring a Trailer podcast.
I know. And they're like lowered. They have upgraded brakes. And I think at least one was a manual because there were school cars like 20 years ago. So we're geeking out on the Solara pics.
I would actually love to have taken a Solara around the track. I think that would have been fantastic.
Same. It's just so funny. It's part of the motor pool there. They just
it's amazing. But you're right. Not even just the friendliness and the welcomeness, but the professionalism with the way they ran everything, every piece of it, from the concession to the track workers to the people that were working with us on our event there, was incredible. And our event was incredible. We did two things. The thing that was my highlight of the whole trip, and there were so many highlights, was the race car parade and that whole thing on Friday night. So I don't know if you want to talk about that first or if you want to talk more about our actual main Alumni Gathering event, which was our flagship event of the year.
No, let's dive into the parade, which I was accidentally almost in based on my arrival time.
Yeah, totally. So essentially, I mean, you already know this, but for the listener, the original version of Road America was, like so many early SCCA tracks, was on streets and went through the little town of Elkhart Lake. And when it got too sketchy, they built a dedicated circuit. Similar story with Laguna Seca, right? Where they used to race through the trees on Pebble Beach and it was too dangerous. And so you build Laguna Seca. Well, Friday night before the races, they shut down the roads and they send all the race cars out of the track down the public roads into Old Town Elkhart Lake, where the track used to go through. And so we sponsored that event on Friday night, and all the race cars got to drive down the road, and there's 15, maybe I even heard 20,000 people lining the roads. And I sat on the floor of Howard's GT3 race car, and he and Randy were kind of up in front since we were the presenting sponsor. And dude, I was like a borderline emotional. I don't know what to say. Like people are so stoked you're there and they're cheering, and it's that beautiful Midwestern light and that warm air, and you're in a race car on the road and you're not in your suit or anything. You're just in your street clothes and you know you're going to get to downtown Elkhart Lake and everyone's so stoked and it's 10 people deep and then everyone's going to drink beer and drive back. I mean, it's just amazing.
There's something also, to me, those moments just make me feel like I love America.
100,000%. Yes. It's like true mutual freedom that everyone's feeling. It's so great. I mean, I had high expectations for this and they were still exceeded. It was so amazing. And, you know, you're right down on the lake and the Siebkens Hotel is beautiful and everyone's just having a party. It was just so much fun.
So I'll call it right seat, even though there's no seat. What was it like in the passenger's compartment of the car?
I thought it was going to be really, I don't know, emasculating. But honestly, you sit so low in that car. Anyways,
for those that are listening and never seen Alex, he also has long flowing hair.
Yes,
so anyone coming up behind can go for the look
the girlfriend.
and then catch the beard as they're passing.
Yeah. But honestly, like the racing seat so low in that car, I was sitting at the same level as Howard, is awesome. That car is awesome. I've always liked Howard's car, but I don't want to step too much on him being on the pub, but I fell in love with it even more. It's like, you know, unrestored and kind of ratty and like the wrap is bubbling up in places, but it's also so legit and he drove it so legit. I was like, this is one of the sickest cars here.
It's the same as his racing suit that he's had since he's like 13 years old.
Totally.
I'll definitely recycle that for the next podcast.
Totally.
Did anything about riding in it remind you of your own 996 GT3?
No, I thought there would be more lineage and there's not. When he fires it up when you're just idling, I mean, you have this in your car too, the clacking Mesger is like
gravelly.
Even, yes, totally. You think it's broken. It's much more noticeable when there's, not that your car or my car have that much insulation, but there's nothing. So there's just a metal firewall and no carpet between his motor and the passenger compartment. So that's even more distinct, but you know, it's got a racing clutch and like, I'm sure the gearbox has I know it has different gears because he said he was tacked out on the track and, you know, I think my car will go 190. So it's got a shorter gear set in it, a gear stack. It's got a stack.
Baby. Oh man.
Yeah. So much good terminology getting thrown around.
Good thing we didn't play the race term drinking game.
Oh my God. Anyway, that was just like a mind-blowing thing. I recommend folks go check out our event coverage. Our video shows some of that. Our photos show some of that. Ton of BAT supporters out there. It was just a beautiful thing all around. And then Saturday was our big event. What'd you think of it?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, we talked all about the track. The car turnout was stellar. I thought the Pennzoil deal went really, really well for the people that participated. They got a photo with their car on the racetrack all lined up. They got a gift bag from Pennzoil with a $100 gas card. It was just cool and a nice thing that we did. I was a little jealous I didn't get to do the go-karts the day before.
I know. So we were on the go-kart track there, and it was like an epic. I mean, it's like a miniature, like Road America kind of. It had elevation, and like, it was crazy. And the go-karts, they said they go 40. They said we could do it, and we really kind of messed up. It was also
just a good callback to stuff like that without the safety standards of today. It just felt like you could really 100%. Go out there and accidentally break your neck, but in the 100%. Most fun way.
100%. It was a serious go-kart track. But anyway, great participation. We appreciate everyone who came out. We got the kind of access to the go-kart facility, the little building there, which was cool. We had amazing catered bratwursts for everyone, so lunch was really good.
I missed the food.
Our new inflatable tent was sick. Did you like that thing?
The inflatable tent was awesome, and good shelter for the 15 minutes of rain. We
did get a little bit of rain.
Randy's qualifying.
Yep, we got a little bit of that. I thought it was great having so many of our local partners out. So you already talked about 1600 Veloce. Anthony, Sarah, and Diane were out there.
For the event.
I know. So that was awesome. But then we had a bunch of other folks. I hope you got to connect with everyone. We had a bunch of power sellers out there. Justin from Firehouse, great guy. The newer local partners who stored your Porsche were out there. Remind me of the name of their organization.
There were both our Illinois local partners, I believe, were out there. And Evan, great guy who accommodated my car. He was actually racing, I believe.
Oh, really?
I didn't catch what group he was in, but Motive Archive is them. And then our other Chicago local partner was out there as well.
Yeah, right. And we had just a whole bunch of folks who have bought cars on the site, who had interesting cars. I don't want to step too much on the pit situation because it was so much fun with Randy and Howard pitted, but right next to them was our buddy Colin Comer. And then also next to them were the real-time racing folks, Peter Cunningham and his team, who were out running a TSX, but also had a bunch of fascinating street cars kind of on display. They brought the now record-breaking yellow Integra Type R out to our event, but it was also in their pits. They had a real-time racing Integra Type R, which is featured in our video with Randy talking about it a little bit, how he saw that car when he was a kid. And then that NSX-R, that was a pretty amazing spread. And they brought those over.
The white NSX-R next to the white E30 that Anthony brought.
Randy's old car.
White Testarossa.
Oh, man, the Testarossa.
Cool spread.
Yeah, that two-tone brown of 80s Ferrari interior is really, really calling me right now.
That car's great. It's ready to go.
You drove that car, right?
I did. Yeah. It is delightful until you need to stop.
Speaking of period breaks. Speaking of period breaks. Any other things you want to mention about the event? We did get that little bit of rain, but it was a lovely day. Otherwise, we got some of that humidity in the afternoon, which was a good thing to experience. The day before was perfection. And there was really good racing, a lot of wild cars. There was a lot of late model cars on track, which I was surprised by, some really fast cars.
Yeah, that was cool to see. I mean, it's a fast track.
Yeah.
I don't know what the closest thing we have in California, but I feel like we don't have anything that's maybe Willow.
Willow can be really fast, but it doesn't have any straights that are that long. It has fast turns, but this has the famous kink on the back straight, which I can't wait to hear Randy and Howard talk about.
Oh, yes. Okay, cool. We won't blow up their spot. Nice segue into the $205,000 Integra Type R.
Oh, dude. I mean, we chatted about it a little bit in the pod because Cameron drafted a ITR for 1997 for his sports car, which I didn't push back on, but that's a sports car, right? Ish.
I think that counts. We have a loose interpretation.
We do. It was his first time. I wasn't going to push back on young Cam. Gen Z representation. You're not the young guy around here anymore, Zach.
I know. I'm actually having an identity crisis.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome to that. No, that was an amazing result. And unless you want to mention anything else about Wisconsin, I would love to talk about a couple of the recent site results because we've had some amazing cars.
No, let's dive into it.
Okay, great.
Think of the Type R?
I mean, did you get a chance to look at it up close in person? I mean, it's perfect.
I did because
because you have the opposite.
I have a yellow Integra Type R as well. So I wanted to see what a perfect one would look like.
Yeah, you have like world's ultimate driver one, which is actually a delightful car. I love your car. But yeah, it's like yours is the evil twin of this car.
Yes, for now at least. I think I'll bring it back to close to its former glory, but it would never look like that. I'm supposed to get it back this week, I think.
What's getting done to it?
There was a small little oil dribble, so I fixed the leak. I did all the suspension bushings. I did the motor mounts. Basically replaced all the rubber.
Yes, smart.
Yeah. And
that's going to make it feel
oil change. Fresh. Some parts were back ordered, and I think that's pretty much all it needs for now. I'll do a little PDR, probably paint both bumpers, but I got all my VIN tags, car's completely stock, and I like to keep it that way.
I hope you kept those great period license plate frames on it, because that's one of my favorite things about it.
Burlingame Acura?
Heck yeah.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
If only you still had your NSX, one could belong to you.
I've been thinking about it a lot, especially driving across the country. I've also been thinking a lot about the Brooklyn's Green NSX-R, which now seems like such a bargain at $300,000 compared to where these things are going now.
Wild.
I know. A couple other interesting cars are on the site. You mentioned this Alfa TZ3.
Yes.
Okay, which is fascinating. So funny story on that. My buddy Stevie, who you've met before from Slow, he sent me a Instagram reel of this car, which I had no idea about before we had ours live, like maybe a month ago or so. And I was like, what is that? And he was like, oh, it's a TZ3. I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. So I got to lecture like I want to do about TZ1s and TZ2s.
The best looking car of all time.
I love TZ1s, and TZ2s are really interesting too.
I think TZ2s look fantastic. TZ1s are awesome.
Oh, I like the TZ1. Even I would admit.
It's so to you, the simplicity and smoothness.
100%. TZ2 almost looks like from the front at least, like a GTO Ferrari 250. They're beautiful.
So good.
So I never knew about this. It's Viper based. We'll link to it. It's very, very, very pretty. And then sure enough, because the one that he sent me is the same color, I'm sure it's the same car. It has to be. There's only, I think, 10 of them or something like that. So what a gorgeous car. Did you know about it before this?
I do. This is something I haven't fully formed an opinion on, but I'm mixed on manufacturers keeping up the lineage of certain model names.
Yeah.
The Mustang Mach-E is like the prime example of like, why can't you just call it
What
something
about the
else?
Countach that's like a Aventador?
Yeah, I think they look good.
It does look good.
A couple cool styling opportunities. I'd love to see pop-up lights come back if you could pass the NHTSA safety regs. But all that's to say, part of me is like rolls my eyes a little bit at TZ3.
Which is a Viper too.
I know. You look at the steering wheel, the seats, but it's so funny, like right where it would say SRT, they've embossed over it. Some of that stuff makes me laugh, but at the same time, it is really true to the car's lineage. It just looks fantastic.
It looks so good, and you can see why they chose a Viper, because the proportions they wanted to get, like I don't think you'd be able to do that on an Alfa chassis, right? Like the wheelbase length and like the width and everything. To me, the reason I love a TZ1 is the tail, and this has the TZ1 like cam back, and I just love it. And it has the double bubble too.
Round taillights too, which
100%.
Put all your money in round taillights if you're going to speculate on cars.
Shooting brake also, right? Like look at it in profile. You know, it reminds me, this is probably going to sound crazy, but have you seen the Callaway aero backs that they put on Corvettes where they turn a Corvette into like a shooting brake? They replace the hatch and make it like a shooting brake.
Callaway.
Yeah, and you know, Corvette's big and wide, so this has some of that kind of proportionality, and I love the way that looks.
I know, they did such a good job. But then when you look at it inside, you do think if it got really hot and the glue of the Alfa badge came off the steering wheel, you
the
just
SRT,
see the
100%.
little snake's fangs.
And it's got the big wide console of a Viper. Did you see how the back opens? The whole thing folds down around, like the middle part of the cam back folds down around the taillights. It's so cool. I mean, it's amazing. It really is an amazing looking car.
Okay, so I agree with you. It's on my watch list. I do love this car. Where do you stand on the philosophical continuing model lineage for other model names?
I think I'm broadly, I don't know, man. I'm a little bit like, I don't love the Lamborghini thing, honestly. Like I actually really like the way that Aventador Countach looks, but I'm like a little torn on it. But is it really that different than whatever the current gigantic 911 is still being called a 911, even though it's like barely the same thing as a 65 911?
It's all kind of the same. I guess what I'm getting at is I just miss that in the 50s and 60s and 70s, there were just all these fun, cool names. Like this is a Ford Falcon.
Yes.
And all of this stuff getting thrown around. And now that's all kind of lost. And
It's a larger cultural phenomenon though, right? Like lots of sequels in movies. Like we're in the era of just reimagining old stuff over and over again. Time is a flat circle, right? I think it's a broader, I think this is what you're getting at. It feels a little cheap, or like marketing people are in control of what's being developed when you're like, let's just rehash something that we know people loved before rather than being bold and coming up with something original.
Yeah,
And I think a
that's
lot
well
of
said.
I think a lot of cultural critics don't love that in all kinds of avenues, and it's true in the car world as well.
Yeah, people want to buy into a brand and there's a lot at stake. So I guess I get it. I just miss all this chaos of Barracudas and Super Bs and all these fun names.
Totally. You know, it's interesting. The Ford GT that we sell a lot of on BAT, like the original one, which I love, the original Ford GT, which is essentially a reimagining or even a clone, at least cosmetically, of the GT40. I love those. They look great. The second generation Ford GT is really a unique car, right? Built to go racing, and it's an original design, but then the liveries pay homage to the old Ford racing cars. So that's maybe a good mixture of the two things where you're paying some tribute to the old cars, but really the thing underneath is a all original, pretty bold design.
Yeah, I'm good with that. On a personal level, I don't care for liveries on street cars.
No, I don't either. There were a couple Dakar 911s at Wisconsin that were plain, and I was like, oh, that's the way to do it. You know, they didn't have all the
I can't tell with those because then you see all the Pontiac Aztec and Volvo cross country cladding all over them.
Well, that's
it really
true.
highlights all the plastic.
That's true. One other car that I wanted to mention that people were stoked on is we had an F80 3 Series BMW wagon that had been essentially converted into a car that was never built, which is an M3 version of that wagon. So it was a 2015 328 BMW wagon that had the flares, motor, suspension, gearbox, everything thrown in it out of an M3. You have to school me on this. That's the return of the straight six after the V8, right? But with a turbo on it. Is that right? Yeah, okay.
Twin turbos.
Which you have said are very fast track cars, right? And that's not the current M3 anymore. This is the previous generation, right?
No, they're both crazy fast.
Okay.
They're both a leap over one another.
Yeah, okay. Way faster than the V8 cars, I presume, even though the
honestly, someone out there will not be thrilled with me saying that the V8 cars are not really that much faster than E46s.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
They saved all that weight in the motor because the S54 I think is an iron block, and the V8 was actually lighter than that. But then the rest,
I think they're also like 500 or 600 pounds heavier. That is a V8 versus an E46.
Yeah,
they're like way heavier.
The E90, E92 are a lot heavier.
Yeah, probably a great street car, but maybe not as good on the track.
Well, and man, back to Randy and Howard, a very competent race car.
Well, there was a V8 race car that was so fast.
Yeah, him and the other guy, the 991 Cup, were dicing it up for first and second.
Yeah,
so
and it sounded pretty good in that.
Yeah,
mode.
Pro tip: if you want to get a E92 race car, just go for the GT3 car instead of a street car.
Totally,
super helpful.
Any other results or cars that you want to highlight? We've had so much good stuff. We're at record volume right now. I saw well over 1,200 listings live the other day, which is crazy.
Yeah, I thought the ex-Gucci 280 SL was just a cool intersection of
Pagoda record for us, I think, right? 250 grand or something like that.
It's up there. I mean, it was a beautiful car and the restoration work.
Great color, like that kind of light blue, medium blue.
Yeah, Euro lights, just everything about it seemed like true to that brand and that family in a cool way. A little understated, unlike some of the Gucci stuff going on right now.
No, it was a really nice one. And of course, now on the curation desk, you're going to see everyone asking for a 200K reserve on their Pagodas.
I've already have. I think I took a 230 SL who was fighting for a 200 plus reserve.
Oh, man.
On that car.
Man. Where do you stand on though? There was a time when you were like a partisan for Pagodas, and I've always liked them, and it really got me on board. But I feel like the last time you and we've all drafted, everyone's made fun of me. Brandy's even like, they're not sports cars, right? So where do you stand on that?
That's why you got made fun of, because you picked it as a sports car thing. I love them. I've wanted one for a while, and then I thought, I'm too young for this. And then
maybe you're aging into it, buddy. Part of your identity crisis.
It's just such a classy, understated, but beautiful design that would be just perfect to motor around town.
Agreed. I love them.
They're small.
Yeah, they're nice. The shifter is nice on them. Those motors are great.
But then you see the stack of receipts we sell them with. And I go, man, I got a lot of problems on my hands.
I know. One other car. Well, there's so many. I've had a fire watch list recently. But one other thing that I just want to mention, because it has an interesting personal connection. You remember my dad's Vincent Rapide?
Yes.
That was the first Vincent we listed on the site. He didn't sell it. I love you, Pop, but come on. He had that bike. It was given to him when he lived here in San Francisco when he was going to law school in the late 60s, along with another Vincent in parts. I wish he was here to tell the whole story, but he had entrusted it for many years. Even when we were first working together, it was still with Marty Dickerson, this guy who is kind of a famous Bonneville racer. And Marty had it for like 30 years. And I was always worried. It was all in parts. And I'm like, Dad, Marty's never going to restore it. And, I don't want to blaspheme the dead. But I was like, we got to get the parts away. Otherwise, you're never going to get this Vincent back. And to my dad's credit, Marty's eventually he did get all the pieces back and he had it restored. And it was really a beautiful bike and sold to one of the guys bidding on it on BAT. So it's still in slow with that guy. But imagine my surprise when a couple of days ago, ex-Marty Dickerson shows up in a headline on BAT. This is like not, exactly a household automotive name, but his 1957 Ford Ranchero popped up on the site. And my dad remembers seeing this car. He'd restored it, just kind of slightly hopped up, two-tone red and whites. Those are good-looking cars. And there's some great old photos of Marty at Bonneville with his like fared in and kind of racy Vincents. I think he's in the AMA Hall of Fame. He's a famous old racer. He was buddies with Raleigh Free, that famous picture of the guy laying flat in a Speedo on a Vincent. Him and Marty Dickerson were buddies racing Vincents out on the salt flats. Anyway, interesting. We can link to that car. Cool car, but even cooler history and cool photos of Marty.
Man, hilarious. I think I caught this one when it came through curation, but I didn't catch the history.
Yeah, super interesting. Interesting old cat. Lived in Creston, which is a little town east of Templeton, like on the 101 in between Paso and Tascadero. Anyway, had to mention that one because it's got an interesting family connection.
Well, a couple quick other highlights. Did you catch the high roof Mega Cruiser?
Oh, frick. Dude, Mega Cruiser again.
That glass,
dude,
the windshield is unreal.
It's like the Pope Mobile. I'm so bummed out that you weren't on the 97 draft because that came up. Like that was a Mega Cruiser in 97. I actually had written down on my notes, Mega Cruiser versus H1 ? And
how's that even a question?
Oh, dude. Well, I would have taken Mega Cruiser, but Beck stole it from me, and I ended up drafting an H1. I've really come around on Hummer H1s.
I saw one street parked on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, which was wild.
Oh yeah,
so
you said
wide.
That. That's like a psychopathic move to drive that around Manhattan.
I love it. Yeah, H1s. Oh my God, that was another memory you just reminded me of. When I was like an hour outside of Chicago in a humble part of town, and I drove by a Domino's Pizza. And the delivery Domino's car with the Domino's light up on the roof was a black Hummer H1.
Oh my God. So, man, paying off your H1 pie by pie. That's tough.
The gas to delivery ratio, because it was very suburban out there. You're driving some distance. But then I was like, it's probably perfect because the back is all flat. It was the wagon. And I'm sure it gets really hot in there.
I was going to say, it keeps the pizzas warm. You can deliver a lot of them. Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that was awesome. The 8-kilometer RC30.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But I'd love to shove this bike in my living room.
100%. I'm also following, we have a 66 Dodge Charger. It's the 60th anniversary of Chargers next year. Hemi 4-speed in green. Do you like these?
Nice.
Original Chargers. They have that kind of fastback look to them in profile, which is really interesting. And
big piece of glass.
Totally. Look at the interior. And this is 4-place seating. I think
nice.
This is such a cool car. That's our buddy Bill Noon, Symbolic, down in San Diego.
I'm really getting far back, but Rob Deeds listing the CHP.
Totally.
02 Camaro.
Totally.
Man, I would have liked to own that car.
Right before you came in, me and Harrison were going deep on CHP cars and all the Fox bodies with the 5 speeds.
Yeah, we still got to do a pod on that book that Alex Jordan sent us with all the history of the
100%
CHP cars.
We were talking about going to the museum sometime, Dodge Polaras. They had a really
Is
fast.
Is that the Blues Brothers car?
I think that's a Ford, isn't it? I'm not sure. But California Highway Patrol definitely had Dodge Polaras with either a 426 Hemi or a 440 Wedge. And they were. It
was a Dodge Monaco.
Yeah, okay. Those either were until the Camaro or maybe still are the fastest CHP cars. Drum brakes and bias ply tires, but with that huge motor, they go 160 miles an hour or more. Mm-hmm. Amazing. Yeah, we need to get the Colonel in here, the head of the CHP, for a deep dive on highway patrol cars.
I know, and bikes. The Kawasaki's, those are the fastest.
Totally, chips.
That's a 200 mile an hour motorcycle.
Planes too. They fly fixed wing airplanes. They're one of the only police agencies that does that. So they've got all kinds of cool toys.
Man, that is something else I wanted to ask you about. I feel like you never see the road sign of speed check by air anymore.
They still got planes? I got a plane ticket from a Cessna 206.
How long ago?
It was a while ago, 15 years. Maybe not that long ago. I still lived in Lake County.
Stop flying.
No, I don't think so. I think they still do it. I was literally just talking about this downstairs. When I was young and I was considering joining the Highway Patrol because it's a great job, they flew Cessna 185s, which is a tail dragger. They don't fly those anymore. They fly 206s. But Really cool. Most police agencies have helicopters, but very few fly fixed wing aircraft.
I don't know what tail dragger is. Sounds
That means
derogatory.
it's like in World War II, like the airplanes, when they're on the ground, they sit on their tail. They have two main gear.
Okay.
Right. So they're sitting at an angle when they're on the ground, which is a little bit trickier to maneuver on the ground. But most airplanes, including all airliners, are tricycle gear. So they sit flat.
I see.
Yeah. Anyway.
Any other rapid round watch list?
Let's see. I had a bunch that closed. I'm always watching 308 GTBs. So there was another nice one of those. Silver Arrow had one. That twin-supercharged Fox body Mustang. Did you catch that thing? That had a great result. 77 grand. Really interesting. Our buddy Patrick texted me about the ROW 964 in maritime blue. Did you see that car? Sold for almost 200 grand.
A deal.
Yeah, totally. Such a deal.
Crazy to see that next to an RS. They're so close.
Oh, totally. Last one I would shout out, which had a little cameo of our Bring a Trailer hot rod jacket, was our friends at Driver Source sold a 32 Ford Roadster Highboy hot rod that had a flathead with Arden heads on it. You probably hear me talk about that. That's Zora Arcus Duntoff's overhead valve conversion for the flathead. And they're hemispherical, so they make a flathead look like a Hemi, kind of. They reproduce those. They're super cool. So super cool motor. We sold a Allard that had Arden heads on a flathead in it. Anyway, that was a beautiful car. That sold about a week ago or so. That was a gorgeous one. We can link to that. But those are kind of my big highlights. I've had a lot of stuff that people don't want to hear about on my watch list recently. My brain's been all over the place.
Man, I want a rundown of, you just kind of have to show me your hand, and maybe I'll go through your watch list on the next podcast.
Oh, man. Make sure I'm not there so that you can mock me, like Fiat Dinos, hot rods, automatic GT350s from 1970, the ex-Bill Hara Studebaker Commander.
Oh, yes. I liked that too. Yeah, today on a call we all had, it was shared with us that there are some users out there that have 80,000 cars on their watch list.
What?
You were on that call. You didn't catch that?
I missed that stat.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
80,000 cars.
They're watching like
collected.
Almost everything.
I think I have 290 some total.
Man, that's crazy. Well, maybe when we have Howard, I bet Randy has a fascinating list.
He's too cagey about his. He won't.
Yeah.
I honestly think that user that has 80,000 cars is Randy.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. He's just following everything. Yeah, that could be. Maybe we can extract a few out
We'll
of him.
see. I want to hear what's up on his. So you've been driving the 912 around, which is great.
Loving it. I'm
Dusting
going to go
off.
pick up my 5-year-old son in it right now. He loves it.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw you and your daughter this weekend at Berkeley Cars and
Oh, that was
Coffee.
great.
It
That was
fun.
great.
Where were you at in terms of your NSX is sold? You've got your cords. You're going to the Auburn.
Yeah.
Ford.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be fun. Huge mistake selling that car. It really did a thing that I guess the 912 is doing it now. Like I need a car that like, not that I don't care about, but that I feel no guilt or shame just kind of driving around for whatever I want. Like, I'm going to daily drive this special car. And that car really filled that niche. But the nice part is I'm thinking about buying again, right? Like
Exactly.
now,
That's why I'm
right?
asking.
Yeah.
What's on your list?
Oh man, a bunch of things. 308 GTBs as always. I told you about that Fiat bodied front engine dragster that I'm semi pursuing with my buddy. So that's a little bit on the list.
32 Ford still on there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Hot rods. Yeah. I really want a coupe though, not a roadster, but that's definitely on the show. I'm probably gonna have to fight Randy for the next really good one that shows up. GT350s as always. That's 1970, which I know is like controversial. The 70 GT350 automatic was on my watch list.
I think those look great.
I think they look great too. Don't ask Colin Comer what he thinks about those cars with their big fiberglass snouts and everything. But I like them. I'd really like a 4-speed. But anyway, there's a lot on the list.
Okay. Well, I want to do a deeper dive into this. I'm ready for it.
Awesome, dude. Thanks for doing this today. Thanks to all of you for listening. We're going to play some more one-year model games. We've got some cool interviews coming up. We've got Car Week coming up, a lot more events this season. So there'll be lots to chat
Cars
about.
and Coffee event the day after the bridge too, I think.
Yes,
Mid-September.
good. Shout that out. You'll be there.
I should be.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Driving all the way out Long Island, all the way to the end of it.
I don't know what I'm going to show up. And Anthony was threatening to loan Howard and I a couple cars.
Hell yes, brother. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, we'll see. With my luck, I'll cut Anthony a big check on Saturday and then see everyone at the event on Sunday.
Perfect. That'll be great. And then we're going to do Boston in October as well. So we've got 2 more officials and some smaller stuff. But anyway, thanks for doing this, Zach. And we'll do a couple more in the near future.
Yeah, good hanging.
All right. Good hanging with you. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll catch you next time.